Well, that's like pop art was, how it was anybody, it looked like anybody could possibly do it, or even abstract expressionism looked like any school kid could do it. But it wasn't like that. It was like the end of the funnel, where all of these different influences are coming in and your own interpretation is going out. It's not like anybody else could do it. Even three people could sit down and imitate the same thing and it would all be different. Even though it's all the same material, they all have the same utensils to translate it.
Yeah.
But each person's going to see it a little bit different and focus more importantly on certain subjects than other subjects.
But can people see that other than the person themselves?
And a lot of people don't admit to stealing. They don't use stealing and vandalism as a creative tool.
I do.
You know? I mean...
What's that, Tom?
I think vandalism in art is one of the best, like when they really destroy what they've got going for them to get something else.
But that's not vandalism to vandalize yourself, is it?
Well, other people also go in and destroy masters, you know, like the guy with the hammer on the Pietà, stuff like that. I mean, that was, for him, that was pretty great. But,
but you're not talking
for everybody else that admired it the way it was, that wasn't too cool.
Okay.
So a lot of times I like to just give myself a problem, like throw something in that I really don't think belongs, just to test myself and make sure that I can paint my way out of a corner.
Well, define painting your way out of a corner.
And it always works better. Like I was telling you about dealing with a color that you really don't like, that is too garish, or most painters have palettes, like they use a certain set variation of colors. Like if they do a yellow, it's a light yellow, or it's a dark yellow, or something like that. So, like if I hate a color like this color, I put this color in, and when all the space was naked around it, it looked awful. And then I just kept putting brighter colors around it until it fell back into its right slot.
That's funny, because I would have thought you'd filled
removed.
it all in and put that in last, you know, to get
Well, what I did is I had an outline of the whole thing, and then a lot of the times I would ignore the outline, just like when you're making a movie. You just ignore, you find something better that comes along, or you find something that tips you off on a new slant towards something, and you correct and overcompensate and steer the other direction and say, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, but it's not as good as what's going to come out if I take advantage of this real choice item that I've just discovered, that I've just stumbled onto.
Okay.
So I had a basic outline. I even like to leave in, like, all this is pencil lines. And I also had this big thing about leaving virgin canvas.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you.
That was another thing about this painting. This was supposed to be my first painting. This is my big challenge, to cover all of the canvas. Because I always had these light spots in it. Like the virgin canvas, the white is always the extreme lightest, you know.
Yeah.
And it's going to jump out into the foreground for you. So I tried to paint over everything, but I didn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
But you did a good job.
Almost. But
can you explain that the white, because I love that.
Which white?
Explain how leaving the white in is...
Well, also, see how you get things like this? This is when your brush, this is a brush that you should have thrown out, that's completely worn down, has no hair on the end of it, and it's completely out of paint. And just with extreme amount of confidence, you just go, you know, and the sound like that is actually the effect that you get, because it looks like it's kind of broken up or sanded on. It's kind of like a shading technique. And you can't get that when you smooth down the canvas. Like I got a little bit here, it just breaks up, where you've got a line that shows the continuity, but the rest of it is just kind of like a trailer behind it.
Do you think of those paintings as having sound in them?
Yeah.
Like how?
It's real bad in the reverse. Whenever I'm dealing with sound, I'm thinking layers and depths and colors and like that. And
Why is that bad,
I have the worst time communicating with people about.
Unless you're good at your paints.
Well, I have to revert to their language and talk about dynamics, which works either way, and so that's like a middle point.
Yeah.
So I can talk about paintings with dynamics, like the high dynamics and low dynamics and subtle things and other, you know, peak points that jump out at you, and you can talk about music that way. So that's easy translation. But you can't say, well, you know, you can say play something blue, you know, cliche. But you can't say play something yellow that's got a little bit of maroon beside it to balance it out with lots of turquoise.
Get Trudie drinking. Wait. Come on, Trudie. Trudie drinking.
Trudie. Trudie talking.
Yes. This is how Charlie talks.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But you know what's real weird is that Trudie does this all the time too. Like she just sits down and just slams colors, like every color together that don't really exist, or exaggerating, like like they say. The whole idea in Impressionism was like showing all of the little colors that exist in something.
If you break it up, yeah.
If you break it up, like if you magnify it or something like that. But we do the same thing. We just make like exaggerated. Well, this has a little bit of yellow in it, so why isn't it all yellow? Or this is a little bit of a darkish red, or a
But you get his
dark
feet.
value. So why not make the whole area red, and then put the yellow that's supposed to be in it beside it, and then it kind of vibrates into it. And then when you put all of the colors that exist in separated areas, it still works like the Impressionism thing where they had bits of every color right next to each other.
Yeah, in a way. Well, how do you, tell me how, you told me how you and Trudie will go off, you'll draw something that's similar to something she draws. Like, do you have that book that you showed me? Is that around somewhere?
Where's the book, Trudie?
Would you follow Trudie getting the book?
Where is Trudie?
I don't know, she's dancing here in the back.
Look out
waiting for you.
for your lights.
Yeah.
Okay, Trudie, I think you should come in this way.
It's so bad that we
So bad.
we
Do they steal
steal
from each other? I want to hear
we
about
steal
this.
from each other and borrow from each other shamelessly.
That's the end of the book. You're going backwards.
And it gets to the point where sometimes I look at it and I can't remember whether it's hers or whether it's mine. That seems really ridiculous, but that's true.
Would you care about that?
I always know whose is whose, but he doesn't.
Like this is mine because
That is his.
I'm much messier than she is. This is obviously mine, and I can make a mess and not have it not be anything. And she
Let me see the mess again.
she usually has it turn
That's
out to be
good.
something.
I like that. We did that one.
That's a Trudie. Yeah, she can get pretty messy too. See.
Boy, those faces. You really got to think of those faces. That's great.
Actually, that was from a photograph that's about as real as they get. Because in the photograph it was all
Don't you like this one?
blurred.
Don't you like how this one turned out?
That's not it.
I know, that's the back side. That's it. These are Trudie's.
That's yours.
This is mine. It's accordion player. I should spray that. It's gonna go away.
So you guys use the same book?
This is mine.
This is really my book, but some are KK's. He took it over sometimes.
I hate all this
This
business
is our
like in,
friends.
you know how in motion pictures, if you're a
It's not
cameraman,
ours.
you're not supposed to say anything about the lights if there's a gaffer there.
In
And
America.
and you're not supposed to say anything to the director, like give him an idea because it's his show. It's a bunch of nonsense. Now this is mine, and this is just completely stolen from her. I mean, this is just like how she draws. Show ya. This is mine.
Die, bitch.
That's you.
This is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. These are for me,